So today, we're doing a pretty simple job. It's the knock sensors and the fuel injectors. So how we're gonna start is we gotta take off the intake. Go ahead and take that off, and then start by unplugging everything, taking these 310s out, moving the wiring harness out of the way. And also there's this cover. There's an 8mm that goes here. Take that 8mm off, get the cover off, and I'll get back to you when I get all wiring harness unplugged. Alright, so now got the intake off sitting over here. Also the PCV hose is sitting over there. And went ahead and took the throttle body off too. You will have to take this line to pull it all the way off. I just used a bolt to plug the hose so it doesn't continuously leak coolant. It's just 310s on here. And take this hose off, have everything unplugged, and what I plan on doing is maybe using a bungee cord to hold this up, or just pull the intake out without it, and then those two fuel lines you gotta disconnect. And just use this fuel line disconnect tool. You slide it in there, push the line onto it, and then you pull the line off. This is a 3/8 one. And also for the knock sensor harness, that bracket has a metal clip attaching it to the intake manifold. You do have to take that off also. So now we just have to get all the bolts off the intake manifold, which they're all 8mm. I believe there should be 10 of them, 5 on each side. So go ahead and pull those off and pull the intake out, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so the intake is out, and I also got the knock sensors out in process. So this one was the back one. That was the one that we were having problems with, because these knock sensors on the Chevys, they ground out of the sensor itself, and then the one wire going to it is the signal. I also went ahead and replaced the fuel rail pressure regulator. That's pretty easy. This clip just pops right off, and then it pulls right out. And when you pull it out, it's going to have a small O-ring. Make sure you get that out. And this O-ring right here, and this filter. And then taking the knock sensors out itself. This is the new harness. The old one ended up breaking coming out. Just grab some pliers and you push on right here, which opens those tabs and allows you to pull it off. So we're gonna go ahead and put the new ones in. I'll show you that. Alright, so I got the new ones in, and it is a 22 for the knock sensors. The technical torque for it is 15 foot-pounds, but I don't have a torque wrench here that goes down to that, so I just snugged them up, and then the connector just pushes straight on, and you'll hear it click in place. And then also what I did as a preventative maintenance is I put some silicone around it to try and help water from getting down in there. So while we wait for that to dry, in the meantime, I'm going to replace the injectors, and once this dries, I'm going to spray down the mating surfaces for the intake manifold and clean them off, and then we'll put the new one on. For the injectors, it's pretty easy. You got 8mm right there, and one right there. Same thing with the other side. Take all 4 of those out, just lift it straight up. And also, for sliding them back in, I use this silicone lubricant, spray it on the injector O-rings, and it makes it easier to slide them in. So, go ahead and do that, wait for it to dry, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I got the surface all clean. Got the gasket on there. All that silicone is dried already. So now, just need to put the injector rail back onto the intake manifold. I went ahead and cleaned off the intake manifold a little bit too. All new injectors in there. We're gonna slap that back onto the intake manifold, and then we're gonna lift up the wires a little bit and slide the intake manifold in. Bolt it all back in. I'll get back to you when I get that. Alright, I want to go ahead and demonstrate this real quick. So what I do for these is you have to pop this clip out. Just take a little screwdriver. I'm gonna go ahead and just pry onto it. Pop the clip off, and then you just pull it straight out. And if you're reusing your old ones, always replace the O-ring down here. You're not replacing the injectors, and then this one comes out, so just replace this O-ring. You don't even have to worry about this, but you're gonna replace the injectors also, which you probably should while you're in here. And that clip just pops off like that, and you just pull it straight out and put it in the new one. Alright, so I got her all done. The process of going back together is the same way it came off. Plug everything back in. I don't know for sure torque specs on the intake manifold. I just kind of snug them up. And yeah, gotta go test drive her, and all done.